Stop crying, get your ass up, stand on your 2 feet, like I've always taught you. If I can die with a smile on my face, then you can live with so many breaths left to breathe.
The story of Daystorm Power, this week on Upvoted by Reddit. Welcome to episode 3 of Upvoted by Reddit. I'm your host, Alexis Ohanian, and in our first 3 episodes, we discuss the stories of Dante Orpilla, also known as Young Luck on Reddit, James Irwin, who goes by Proofrock451, and Smooth McGroove, who has the very creative username of Smooth McGroove. If you haven't heard all of those yet, or just missed one of them, take a listen and let us know what you think on r/upvoted. Now, on this week's episode, we'll be hearing from a multifaceted entertainer, a guy who created a career for himself on the internet against seemingly insurmountable odds. Last week, we heard from Smooth McGroove, who has a presence in many communities on Reddit. The person we'll be hearing from today might not be as active, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've never heard of him. You might know Daystorm Power as a YouTube sensation, rapper, comedian, or one of the most popular entertainers on Vine. But even though he's found success now, it was a long path to get there. We wanted to try something a little different for this week's episode. A few of the YouTube videos that Daystorm has made have bubbled up on Reddit over the years, but there was one in particular that got my attention, and I thought, I really need to talk to this guy. But before we hear from Daystorm, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. We're big Squarespace fans and cannot recommend them enough. If you haven't seen it, I did a Small Empires episode on Squarespace that is definitely worth checking out. Start with a free trial at squarespace.com with no credit card required. When you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code UPVOTED at checkout. That's squarespace.com, offer code UPVOTED. This episode is also brought to you by FreshBooks. Accounting can be frustrating and mundane, but it doesn't have to be. FreshBooks makes necessary accounting tasks like time tracking and invoicing a breeze. I'm a big fan of FreshBooks because it's especially designed for startups. For a 30-day free trial with no credit card required, go to freshbooks.com/upvoted. That's freshbooks.com/UPVOTED. Daystorm Power's story begins in the suburbs of Baltimore, where he lives with his mom, dad, and 7 siblings. Daystorm's father works for the Baltimore Sun, which is a local newspaper. But as he faced pay cuts over time, he became increasingly more abusive to Daystorm and his mother.
He would say things to her like, fuck you, why you feel like you're better than me now? She's like, no, we're working together. So I had to go in there and just try to fight my father at the time. He just bust me down, because he was gone. And I was the one who always bust in. My mother was just like, I gotta leave before he kills you. But then, my parents divorced, and when the separation happened, we moved into the ghetto. And you living in the projects, and you have to deal with, there was no locks on the doors, there was like rats. There was one time I seen a 7-year-old girl just get shot in the head in a bodega or a corner store. I watched The Wire, and it's more of a polished, believe it or not, story of Baltimore. People say, oh, The Wire is really bad. I'm like, well, you need to really go to Baltimore because it's hood. It's more hood than The Wire. Being thrown into another environment is just like taking an animal, a domesticated animal, and throwing it into the wild. So that's the only way I can compare it. So you wild, and you fight, and you're trying to survive because you gotta eat. And I have 4 little sisters, so he's like, they gotta eat, and your mom, you gotta protect her. So it's like, how do you do all of this in your 10 or 11? So it's like, okay, I gotta grow up really fast. My brothers, we gotta grow up really fast, and we gotta stick together. I think that's what brought a lot of camaraderie in the family too, just coming together with your brothers, because that's all you have.
At this time, one of the only places that Daystorm found solace and opportunity was in art.
When I moved into the projects, I was a gifted artist, and we would just sit there and we would just draw every day, and every day we would just draw and get better. And obviously it was a gift too. But eventually I would go to like different churches and mosques and just draw like things like Last Supper and like things on the walls. And my mother was in the Nation of Islam, so I used to draw like Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad on the walls of the mosque. And then I would go to my grandmother was in church, so when we go to DC, I go to her church and draw like Jesus on their walls and things like that. So it was like a flip of religion too. So, and I was really good artist at the time. So then eventually they knew we didn't have money, so a lot of the people who went to our church or our mosque would hire me to go to their home and draw on their kids' walls. So I drew like butterflies and things on their walls. So I just became like this great artist. Then one day I drew a picture of Jesse Jackson and I painted it. It was a big deal because my teacher sent it to him and he wanted to keep it. So he put it on his wall. So at the time he was like, well, we want to give you some scholarship money to go to the School of the Arts. So it was like, yeah, you know, J.P. Smith went there, Tupac went there, and all this other stuff. And I was like excited at the time. So I started to go to the School of the Arts and take up things like animation and just different, things like that to hone my skills in art.
However, because of the financial hardships his family faced, his ability to pursue his passion would be short-lived.
I went to a lot of schools. I went to 5 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 5 elementary schools, 5 middle schools. I would just bust through schools because we would get evicted a lot. So when we get evicted, we had to change neighborhoods, so I had to change schools. But it was a big setback because one day we got evicted and I had all these art manuals, like filled books of things, and we had to put all our stuff into storage. So when you put things in storage, you got to pay a monthly bill on the storage. We couldn't pay the monthly bill on the storage, so the storage, they auctioned off all of my art. Maybe someone has it out there, I don't know. So all those years of art, I lost it. So I kind of went into a depression and kind of quit.
Ups and downs like this became a pattern throughout Daystorm's young life. Setbacks were nothing more than opportunities for him, chances to explore new media and develop new skills. So when physical creations were something that he no longer was able to hold on to, he turned his passions toward music.
So music was my escape. In Baltimore, as I got older, I'm 15 years old, and Baltimore is one of those cities where people go to the mall and you have actual doo-wop groups. You know what I'm saying? So you had groups of girls that would just doo-wop at the mall, groups of guys that would sing at the mall. Everyone had some type of talent. And at the time, they had a lot of people who were hip-hop heads, and they would actually battle. They would actually have, they would literally have groups of MCs. And I was in a group called the New Testament. And we would go battle rap, and older guys would come down like Common and Mad Skills at the time would come into Baltimore, and we would just jump in these ciphers and we would just be rapping.
Daystorm also found success with track and field, and he even earned a track scholarship to Morgan State University, though that would also fall through. Undeterred, he knew that he needed to get out of the projects if he ever wanted to get ahead.
You're not working because it's usually minimum wage. No one wants to hire you when they can hire someone that lives in the county. It was rare that I met a girl who wasn't, abused by some guy or something. So they're all fucked up in their head. All the boys are fucked up in their head because they're fighting every day. So you can't think about barreling down and taking your tests when you're thinking about your dinner. You just never get ahead enough to just make ends meet. So you're always struggling to make ends meet. And I think that's the biggest problem why people in the projects remain in the projects. The only way to get ahead is to get out.
After Daystorm and his brother landed their first song on local radio, he packed up his car and left for New York to pursue a career in music.
I knew one guy in New York and I just took the trip. This kid's name was Doobie. He was working at Bad Boy Records at the time. I think he was engineer at Bad Boy. So I'm like, oh, he works at Bad Boy? Shit, this is my time to shine. I could be Diddy. So I get to New York, I meet up with Doobie, and he has me up inside Daddy's house, which is Diddy's little baby on 44th Street, where they have like a studio and they make beats and stuff. He got into an argument with, I think, Harvey Pierre at the time, who was Diddy's right-hand man. So Doobie got fired. This is my first week in New York. He was on some Jerry Maguire shit. He's like, yo, so if you came in here with me, we leaving together. So I'm like, damn, dog, that's this guy here. I can't leave. Where am I go? So long story short, I had to leave with Doobie. And at the time, I was working at Red Lobster in Maryland. I had another job. So they transferred my job to Red Lobster Times Square. But I had these long cornrows in my hair, braids, and there was this racist manager there. He told me to cut my hair. He said, if you don't cut your hair, then I'm going to have to fire you. So he fired me. I sued Red Lobster, eventually won a year later. But I didn't get that money for a whole year. But I didn't cut my hair at the time. I wasn't going to have him bitch me around, So I did it. And I lost both jobs. And I found myself, I was living in a crackhead's house at the time, and she had a pimp. He was this big black dude. And I was like, man, I can't beat this dude, man. Eventually, he going to kick me out. So I had $400 some odd dollars to my name. I took that $400 and I invested in myself. And with that $400, I bought tents for my car. I bought an amp and a keyboard. I paid my cell phone bill for 2 months, and I bought 2 dope outfits. I called my brother up and I told him, I said, yo, James, let me tell you what I did with my money. He said, you fucking idiot, what are you doing, man? You need to bring your ass back to Baltimore, man, and just get a job. I said, I'm not leaving New York because mama think I'm out here doing a date with Diddy. I told her too many lies. So out of all the people in the world, my biggest fear was my mama, as failure. You don't want to fail in front of your mom, So I'm telling her, Mom, I'm out here with Diddy, we popping bottles. Nah, I was just in crackhead house living in her room. So I told my brother, he said, what the hell did you buy with your money? So I told him the items that I just told you, and then I had to explain to him what my vision was. And I told him I bought the tents for the car because I don't have any work anymore. So at night, I'm gonna have to sleep in the car. So I have to tint the windows so no one can see that I'm sleeping in the eclipse. I told him that I bought the amp and the keyboard because that'll be my new employment. So in New York, it's a city that's set where you can go into the subway systems and you can sing, you can make money or rap. So I had to have an amp and I had a keyboard so I could play out and play it and then just sing, well, no Saturday night. And I would just sing like, oh, heaven, those songs and stuff and just make money. I told him that I bought the 2 outfits because in New York, you have to look good if you want to land any type of job or if you want to do shows, because I'm still doing shows throughout Harlem even though I was homeless. And I told him I paid my cell phone bills just in case somebody wanted to call me and tell me that I get a gig. Or if my mama called me, I gotta be able to stay in touch with her because she would whip my ass if she found out that I wasn't going to be. Well, a month and a half goes by, my car got burned down. I don't know, the cop said it was some kids on the street. He said some kids was playing around and then there was an electrical fire, but it was the middle of January or February. It was cold as hell, about 6 feet of snow on the ground, so I was living in the subways.
After 6 weeks of being homeless and performing everywhere he could, Daystorm had finally reached his breaking point.
Doing all those shows throughout that time when I was in Harlem or whatever, people would give me their cards. And it would accumulate. And I remember it was my last day in New York and I was ready to go home, freezing. And I was going to go call my brother and tell him, yeah, he was right, man. I should have came home and got a job. I failed. And one of those cards fell into the snow. And I had to make that decision. Should I call the person on the card or should I, go home? And of course, me being the, stubborn dude that I am, I called the person on the card. This girl answers the phone. She was an assistant to this guy named Jonathan. She's like, oh my God, we love you, man. You should come down and meet Jonathan. He wants to meet you. And I said, all right, I'll come down and meet him. And she was like, well, we'll set it up for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? I don't have 2 weeks. In my head, I'm thinking this. So I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. I'll just talk to you later, and I'm just going to go home. Before I hung up the phone, she said, no, wait. Let me put him on the phone. Maybe you and him could work something out. So he gets on the phone. He's so amped. He's like, Daystorm, man, I fucking love you, man. I love your work. I've been listening to your demo left and right, man. I love your flows and stuff. Come down here. I want to meet you. I said, all right, I'll come down now. He said, well, I can't meet you now. Maybe I can meet you in a couple of weeks because I'll be headed out of town tomorrow. I said, well, I got too much on my plate, too much to do, man. I ain't got time, man. So I called his bluff. Long story short, I jumped the turnstile, went down to the Lower East Side. And when I got to the Lower East Side of New York, I went into his place. His place was laced. And I went down there, and from there, he said, man, I can get you some placements on VH1, MTV, or the radio. I didn't believe him. I said, you bullshit. He was telling the truth. So I told him my story, and he cut me a check right on the spot.
Quickly after that fateful call, Daystorm began to make a living as a musician. He rose his way up the ranks by writing verses for established major label acts like Trey Songz. Though he was finally making a career out of his passion, Daystorm had seen success before, only to have it taken away just as quickly. And sleeping on the subway was something that he never wanted to go back to. He decided to develop a fallback career, in case music didn't end up working out in the long term. Daystorm chose to become a personal trainer, and started to make workout videos to help teach his clients. This would bring him to a little site called YouTube.
I was going on MySpace, and then one of my clients said she can't log on MySpace. She was older. She's like, I can't use MySpace. Where are you going to put my videos? So I heard about this site called YouTube, and I started to put her videos on YouTube. And that's how I got into the YouTube space, put my fitness videos on YouTube. And then I started to basically put my music behind my fitness videos on YouTube.
Daystorm soon saw that what he was doing could even become a career.
I read an article and it said Phil DeFranco made such and so amount of dollars on, he's a big YouTuber. Him and some other YouTubers at the time was talking about how YouTubers were making money. I didn't know what a YouTuber was. I didn't know that you could be a YouTube personality and actually, actually make an income. So when I saw that these YouTubers was making, I said I want to be a personality on YouTube also. And people just started, and I knew that I studied them, and I noticed that people just like you for your personality more than what, and then they'll fall in love with your craft. So I eventually started to put videos up on YouTube. I tried everything. I mean, I did skits. I had a horrible mouth on me. I was cursing like crazy. I did telling my crazy stories about growing up in the hood with this show I had called The Hookup, and it did really well. I was going through so many phases. Then I started doing music on YouTube. I really blew up on YouTube when I started to do these challenges where I would challenge the audience twice a week to do a song about anything. They challenged me and said, Daystorm, I challenge you to rap while underwater. I did it. I challenged you to rap while jumping out of a plane. So I hired 2 fucking cameramen, and I went, jumped out of the plane, and rapped on the way to the ground. Shit made CNN. So all of those little crazy rap challenges that I did kind of honed. I would challenge you to rap using 100 movie titles or 100 these, and I would just do it. So my name just started to go around as this guy who could rap about anything. And that just came from the early days of just freestyling and things, and just being able to put those lyrics together like that. Then eventually I started doing like straight songs, and then eventually growing from there. So that's how the YouTube thing just like happened,
Daystorm had honed his skills into something incredible, and people were clamoring for more. Here's a snippet from his rap using 100 movie titles to talk about the struggles and triumphs of his own life.
That's just like a movie. All these things that happen to me. See, I make me strong no matter what you do, no matter what you do. Gotta live my life's just like a movie. All these things that happen to me. If only you could see through my eyes, you would realize. Gotta live my life just like when I was a baby boy, the Godfather didn't love us. Big Mama had enough and said it's time to step brother. See, the inside man is always the one to hurt you. With his hand cocked back and turn your skin the color purple. I'll take your face off, now the family's in shock. And the girl next door was addicted to the rock. See, you got served, now the pretty woman's dying. Thought you was getting saved, but who's saving Private Ryan? Now with your scar face, you up the creek without a paddle. And need a Superman that's gonna save you from the battle. The small soldiers born to be the Lord of the Rings. Started out as lost boys and trapped the wild things. Mommy dear said I am legend, not the enemy of state. So prepare for Armageddon like a slip in the way. So I walked 8 miles, then I drove 300 to become Brooklyn's finest and make more money. I felt like I'm a star just coming to America. Everything was taken, causing me hysteria. Maybe these sickos don't like men in black, but even the big fish watch just scratch like a movie. All these things that happen to me. See, they make me strong no matter what you do. I'm not afraid. Gotta live my life just like a movie.
It's undeniable that Daystorm has some incredible talents. He managed to overcome physical abuse from his father at home, the struggle of getting out of the projects, and even homelessness. The future was finally starting to look bright for Daystorm, and others were starting to take a substantial interest in his talents. But while things were getting better for Daystorm, he would have to yet again face hardship, one that would ultimately redefine his outlook on life. That's what's coming up after a word from our sponsors. If you're a creator like Daystorm, Squarespace is a great place to build an affordable and beautiful website with absolutely zero coding experience. They even have free e-commerce with all their plans and seamless integration with Stripe, so you can sell your music, your merchandise, and anything you need to sustain an online business. If you haven't checked out all the updates in Squarespace 7, you really should. They now have a much simpler one-page interface, so you don't need to keep switching from the front end to the back end, more integration with Google Apps, and a new partnership with Getty Images to give you access to a wide variety of great stock photography. All of this is still only $8 a month. For a free trial with no credit card required, just head over to squarespace.com. When you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, use the offer code UPVOTED to get 10% off. You'll be getting a great deal and you'll be supporting this podcast. That's squarespace.com, offer code UPVOTED. Now, back to the story of Daystorm Power. As Daystorm's career began to take off, not everything was going according to plan at home.
My mom got sick in 2008. She said, you have what it takes to take care of the family. She said, I know you have the grind in you. When she was sick with cancer, when she wrote everything, she put it in my name. She said, whoever has to make these decisions on my life or my death, it's you. And I was like, I got older brothers, I got younger sisters. But I said, they're more responsible than I am. And she said, it's not about responsibility when it comes to this decision. It's about your heart. It's about who's strong enough to stand up to these doctors and tell them yes or no, to make these decisions when I'm sick and I can't talk anymore. She said, you're the one that has the power to do that. And when the family goes, she said, when I go, you have to take over and take care of the family. And I was like, damn, that's a lot of, I said, well, I guess that is responsibility. That's a lot of responsibility. So when she passed, she said, right before she passed, last time I spoke to her, she said, stop crying, get your ass up, stand on your 2 feet, like I've always taught you. She said, if I can die with a smile on my face, then you can live with so many breaths left to breathe. And it fucked my head up when she said, I was like, oh my gosh, this is deep. So I got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning from her husband at the time, and he said that she passed. And I was in New York. I jumped in the car and I drove straight down to DC. And 2 days later, they had the funeral. And when you look in the coffin, she's got this damn smirk on her face. I'm like, God, this woman, man, she's just superwoman, man. And I kind of, that's when it flipped in my head and was like, wait a minute. She raised all these kids through the projects. All of us made it out. None of our friends made it out. She did something right.
Yeah, dude, it is a testament to everything she did. 2008 was actually the year I lost my mom too. And she was diagnosed back in 2005, the year we started Reddit, and it was brain cancer. But the point is, having someone in my life I know who was going through that, who I respected so much, made all the challenges of like the struggle, of like the hustle, the startup, it put it into perspective.
Well, first of all, sorry to hear about your mom, man, because I already know. We can relate. A lot of people don't get it, man. That's a pillar, and to lose that is like crazy. And it is a testament to that, because you have to do it. It goes from wanting something to having to have something. So that's when I locked myself in my house and I just did everything right. And it worked.
That same year, Daystorm finally became a YouTube partner and began earning an income from the site.
And I got my first YouTube partnership, and I got my first check from Google. It was probably for like $100 or something. I was like, oh my God, I got money from Google for internet. And then from there, I just wanted to get a bigger check every month. So I just would hustle and just get my numbers up. And eventually I would, get 100,000, 200,000, $500,000. Then eventually I hit 1 million. Followers on YouTube, and that's when Sarah, my manager, who's still my manager today, she reached out to me.
Hi, I'm Sarah Penna. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Big Frame, and I've been Daystorm's manager for the last 5 years. So I first spoke with Daystorm in 2010, and I met him actually at the first ever VidCon. We had been working together for about 6 months at that time, and it was really fun. He was actually living in New York. And the first VidCon was obviously in LA, in Century City, and that's where we met for the first time. But we'd already been working together for about 6 months. He was actually one of my very first clients, and I didn't even have a company name. I was just sort of looking at YouTube content creators that I enjoyed and thought had potential. And I still remember our first phone call. I was like, you don't know who I am, but I love your videos, and this is kind of the stuff that I've done for Full Franco and Mystery Guitar Man.